Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I'm one of the travel agents with Marvelous Mouse Travels. We are the agency that runs this Facebook group, along with several others that are focused on different destinations. And we are also an earmarked platinum authorized Disney vacation planner. And what that means is that we are trained by Disney to be expert in their vacation products. And we're really excited to be in this group, actually, for the first time ever tonight, to give you an introduction and an overview of Adventures by Disney and really talk to you about that Adventures by Disney difference. So, this is a weekly live panel that we do in one of our groups every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, we're very excited to be in this group tonight. We have some information that we're going to share with you at the beginning of this video, but we also want to save some time at the end of the video to answer your questions. And also, if you have done an Adventures by Disney itinerary and you want to share your experiences, we would love that. And so feel free to go ahead and drop questions or comments at any point in the video. And we are using a platform called StreamYard tonight to go live. And StreamYard might ask you to approve it to display your name and profile picture for you to post a comment or question. Just know that you don't have to accept that. You can decline that permission and still post anonymously, and we'll be happy to interact with you that way. So I'm joined tonight by two of our marvelous agents. Ladies, thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend to be here with us tonight. And if you would just take a minute to introduce yourself, let everybody know how long you've been with the agency and what the best way is for them to get in touch with you if they're interested in planning a vacation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Elliott. I have been with MMT since January of 2020, and the best way to contact me is my email, danielle.elliott@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan Gwinnett. I have been with the agency 3.5 years. I've actually have lived in Europe for 3 years, and I'm actually on my way back to moving back to Europe for the next 3 years. So I'm really excited to talk Adventures by Disney with you this evening. And the best way to contact me is my email address below, megan@marvelousmousetravels.com.
And again, my name is Ginger Pierce. I have been with the agency just over 3 years now, and the best way to get in touch with me is to visit my blog, which you can find at gingermmt.com. So, when a lot of people hear the word Disney, I think probably the first thing that comes to mind is obviously the theme parks, because those were kind of Disney's first foray into the vacation market. But when I think of the word Disney personally, as someone who works with Disney closely, and I know you ladies do as well, I think of what we call that Disney difference, which is just a reference to, Disney's customer service, their attention to detail, and their skill in crafting those immersive experiences. And I think that that is definitely something that you find in Adventures by Disney to the same level, if not more so, than you're going to find it in those Disney theme parks. And so, ladies, in your opinion, what separates Adventures by Disney from other tour companies that are out there?
So I think that the fact that you get 2 tour guides with you, you have a Disney cast member who is from the US, speaks English, and then you also have a guide that is local to the area where you are exploring, makes a huge difference. The tour groups are also not so large that you feel like you're lost in the shuffle. And like you talked about the Disney difference, there's just little touches put on your experience, from your transportation to the airport, to the meals, to the experiences that you have. Everything is just a bit more elevated.
I would agree with that. And to kind of piggyback on that a little bit, I would also say that, Ginger, like you kind of touched on those immersive experiences. And, I know as a parent, we're hoping that our future vacations can be fun, but also educational. And I think that those immersive experiences that Adventures by Disney creates is going to be sort of that hands-on learning that I think a lot of parents like to see their kids, doing. You're going to be making pasta in Italy. You're going to be making those Venetian masks in Venice. And I mean, that's just not something you can learn walking through a museum and looking at artifacts. So I think that those are really important when it comes to the Disney difference.
Yeah, Adventures by Disney bills itself as offering culturally immersive, once in a lifetime experiences, and all of those things that you just talked about are definitely those kind of once in a lifetime thing. You also get this insider access, which means that your Adventures by Disney itinerary is going to give you access to things that aren't available to the general public. So, for example, you get to do a VIP tour of the Vatican on certain itineraries. You get to have dinner at the Vienna Zoo. You get to have a private tour of the Egyptian Museum. There's lots of special things that if you were trying to, put this trip together yourself, or maybe going through another tour company, that you wouldn't necessarily have access to all of those
Right.
things.
So, for instance, did you ladies know that if you do the adventure that takes you into Austria and that takes you to the gazebo where the Sound of Music, where they filmed 16 going on 17, Adventures by Disney is the only company that has the key to that gazebo, and they take you in, and your adventure guide will walk you along, just like they did in the movie. I mean,
That's
it's really
awesome.
cool. I mean,
That's
but
amazing.
that's, you know what I mean? That's just another one of those Disney touches, that Disney difference that gives you that elevated level. You know what I mean? Everybody else, they get to walk around, they get to peer at it from the outside, but with Disney, you actually get to go inside. So
That's amazing.
for me, I've been there and I've seen that, and I've done the tour that walks around the outside. I want to go on the tour that takes me inside. So,
Yeah, that's
I
one
want
of
to
my
sing
favorite.
I'm 16 going on 17, walking around.
That is one of my
I'll send you a
favorite
video.
movies of all time. Yes, do it. Please
Yes.
do. So we've talked a little bit about, some of the inclusions, but let's share with everybody, what are the things that are included in the price of your Adventures by Disney experience?
So obviously your accommodations, your hotel stay. It also includes your transfers to and from the airport. And when they meet you at the airport with a sign that's got the Adventures by Disney logo on it, and the other side is your name, so you know exactly where you're supposed to go. You don't have to find a taxi. You don't have to meet a huge bus out front of the airport. Some of your meals are included, all of your admissions to any of the sites that you see. And like Danielle talked about, that pasta making, in Italy on one of the adventures, you go into a family's home and they teach you how to make pasta, and then you eat the pasta you've made. I mean, what more like authentic Italian experience that can you get than by making pasta?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. And the hotels that are included too are like very nice hotels. I was looking through, because one of the things we're going to talk about towards the end is like, what would be our dream itinerary that we have not done that we would love to do in the future. And I was looking at mine and I was like, well, these hotels are really, really nice. They're included with this. So you're not staying at like,
No,
you're not staying at a bottom of the line hotel. They're very, very nice. Yeah.
And in all honesty, because I know, so we had two agents that did the like Czech Republic, Austria itinerary as a training like 2 summers ago. And I know that they were kind of concerned about being in Europe over the summer because most of Europe does not have air conditioning. Yeah. But the hotels that they stayed in were like Westin, Marriott, like very, very nice hotels that also had AC. So, like they're not just going to stick you in a tiny corner and say, here's a room with 50 people, like a hostel style. You're going to stay at a nice hotel. You're going to stay places where it is reputable, where they have air conditioning and amenities that Adventures by Disney adventures are not cheap by any means, but for what you pay, that value of what's included is incredible.
I agree. And too, it's kind of takes a lot of the headache and a lot of the hassle out of international travel because like you're not, like you said, you're not having to worry about getting a taxi in a foreign country where maybe you don't speak the language or something like that. Like you have the opportunity to have all of that taken care of for you in advance. And really, all you have to worry about is, making sure that you have proper travel documentation and that you schedule your flights there and home, and really everything else from that point forward is kind of taken care of for you.
Yes.
Which I love.
Even when you have some free time, because not all meals are included,
Right.
but your adventure guides can say, try this cafe, or I know that this one is on everybody's must-do list in Paris, but this one over here around the corner is going to give you amazing food and a much more authentic atmosphere than the tourist one on Champs-Élysées or something. Right. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to probably, I guess, what a lot of people are wondering is, what are the choices that I have when I'm trying to make up my mind about taking an Adventures by Disney trip? And overall, there's kind of 3 different types of experience that you can choose from. The standard tours that are offered are typically about a week, sometimes a little bit longer than that. You are in that instance going to be traveling with other parties. And Danielle, when we were talking about this before we went live, you made a really interesting comment about like people traveling with others, because I know maybe sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know how I'd feel about traveling with people I don't know. But what were your thoughts on that?
So, we kind of mentioned that Adventures by Disney does have a higher price tag. And, I was thinking about it this weekend, and if you really kind of look at it from a bird's eye view, you're traveling with other families and you're making these connections, which I think we're all kind of craving right now. And, like your kids are meeting other kids from all over, the world, potentially depending on where the other families are traveling from. And, they're experiencing all these things together. You're experiencing these things with the parents and making those kinds of connections. And, potentially, you're making lifelong friendships with these other families. And I just think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So, and especially when you have Disney, kind of like we said, the Disney difference, and you are all kind of connected because you love Disney in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. You have that connection as well. So,
well, and I think too, you bring up a good point. It kind of reminds me of cruising. Like when you are seated at your table on your cruise, you are, unless you elect to sit just by yourselves, you're seated with other families, and you sit with those same families every night and you converse and you talk about your day and things. Disney just takes that to a whole nother level with this. And they do a lot of things that promote, everybody getting to know each other. I mean, there's usually some sort of a welcome dinner the first night, a welcome event where there's icebreakers, and so you really relax and enjoy your vacation rather than worry about being around other people. Right. But that said, there's another type, right?
There is another type. If traveling with people you don't know is not your forte, you can choose a private adventure, and that is going to allow you to experience, one of those itineraries with just your hand-picked travel party, and you can have up to 12 people join you for one of those private experiences. And you can also choose, if maybe you're wanting something that's on, obviously the private adventure is going to be on the higher end of the price point. If you're wanting something that might be on the lower end of the price point, you can look into an escape. And escapes, Megan, you described it really well. It's kind of like a long weekend, and some of the escapes are in Europe, some of them are in North America. Like they really are all over. You have a lot of good choices there.
Yeah, I feel like the escapes are really good. They kind of give you a taste. They give you a taste of the Adventures by Disney product. They give you a taste for, maybe you don't know if you want to tour with other people or if you don't. So that gives you a taste. And it's just long enough of a long weekend where you can hit a couple of the highlights and see some cool things. Yeah. But it also gets your appetite wet and makes you want more. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone who's gone on an Adventures by Disney escape and then not gone back and done another Adventures by Disney tour because they have just loved it.
Yeah. And, you mentioned cruising a second ago. You can add an Adventures by Disney experience to your Disney Cruise Line cruise. You can do an extension onto a trip to Disneyland Paris. So, there's lots of options for kind of letting Adventures by Disney enhance a vacation that maybe has other elements included in it as well. And Megan, how far are you going to be once you move from Disneyland Paris? Not far at all.
5 hours. Right?
Yeah.
5 hours by
That's
car.
awesome. So maybe you'll get the opportunity to do one of those since you'll be
Yes.
really close.
Yes, it's on my list.
Yeah. So
My
speaking
husband
of-
doesn't know yet, but it's on my list.
well, he'll be game.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. The kids will have a blast. I feel like we didn't really talk about the kids though on Adventures by
Yeah.
Disney.
You're right.
There's family friendly itineraries. There are also adults only itineraries. So if you and your spouse or you and a group of friends just want to go, you can do that too. But the cool thing about Adventures by Disney itineraries is that there are quite a few things that are family focused, but then they will also do where like the adults do an activity and the adventure guides take the kids and they do like a kid friendly activity and a movie night and things like that. So that even though you are together as a family, you still get that time to spend with your spouse or, you know, whoever you're on that adventure with, where you're not, you know, being mom and dad or all the time. You know what I mean? So it's really nice. I mean, Disney, I mean, it's family friendly because it's Disney, but I'd love on my dream itinerary, I just want to take my husband. So
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, they really do think of everything. You know, they're thinking about it from every person who's going to be on that trip's point of view. You know, so they're going to find things that are great for the kids, make sure the kids are happy, but that's not at the expense of the adults, you know, and the adults having that once in a lifetime experience too. So speaking of what's on our list, that's actually going to be my final question for you ladies tonight. There's so many different itineraries. They span 6 continents. There's no way that we could give, you know, an overview of every itinerary. I think that's a great reason to book your Adventures by Disney vacation through a travel agent like us, because we can help you sift through those itineraries so that it's not so overwhelming. Keep in mind that it is 100% free to book your vacation through a travel agent. You're not going to pay more for it booking through a travel agent than if you were to book that on your own, but you have somebody to kind of help you sift through all of those different choices. But so we obviously can't go over all of the itineraries tonight, but let's talk about and share with everybody, if we were choosing one, which would be the one that we would pick? So which Adventures is your favorite and why?
Okay, you go first, Danielle.
Okay, so I spent almost an hour trying to figure this out because I was like, well, this one, but then this one. And then I finally decided on the South Africa itinerary because my husband told me that when we first started dating, that was one of his like dream trips. And I was like, well, like, you know, if we're going to do it someday, then I hope that we can do it right and do it through Adventures by Disney. But it sounds amazing. And so that would probably be my top one. And the other one I wanted to mention, because I was really excited when Disney announced this recently, is that they've recently announced itineraries for New England, which is my neck of the woods. So Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire. So if anyone is looking to do some leaf peeping in the future, that one would be one that I suggest.
Okay. What about you, Megan? You can go next.
I know mine's the same as yours, though. I think I would love to do the Scotland itinerary with my husband. Not that I don't love my children, I do, but that is one that our last time that we were in Europe, we wanted to do a whole ton more in Scotland and we didn't get to. And then I started looking at the Adventures by Disney products and I was like, this is hands down, like we would love this. So I have to say, Danielle, I did check out that South Africa is on my list too. And I would also like to shout out Egypt and Australia also. And it's no slight to the rest of Europe at all. But we lived in Germany for 3 years and we're headed back. And I've got a whole nother, like we traveled quite a bit of Europe the first 3 years. And I've got a whole list for this coming 3 years. So I can only do so many Adventures by Disney.
That's right. So I will piggyback off of Megan's, because that would be the Scotland itinerary would be the one that's at the top of my list too. I was telling these ladies before we went live that, you know, on way back, generations back, my family is from Scotland. And so I have always wanted to go and kind of experience, you know, our heritage, where we come from. But I've also like wouldn't care what country it was in, I've always thought the city of Edinburgh was absolutely beautiful, and you get to go there on this itinerary. You get to tour the Royal Yacht. You know, there's some castle
Yes.
tours and stuff in there, and so like, you know, it just sounds like a dream. But I would also love to do that Austria one too, because like I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge Sound of Music fan.
Yes.
And so that would be really amazing.
You just need to come visit me and we'll make the Sound of Music stuff happen.
No, we should do it. Hit
I
up
would love to
Disneyland
do
Paris too.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danielle. What were you going to say?
Sorry. I was going to say I would love to do the New Zealand one as well. My husband and I did 3 weeks. In 2019, we did 3 weeks between Australia and New Zealand, but we weren't in New Zealand nearly as long as we wish that we were. So I would love to go back there and explore more.
And that's great for all the Lord of the Rings fans out
Yeah.
there too,
Yes.
right? Large portions of it were filmed there. So yeah. Well, I mean, definitely there's you're spoiled for choice with Adventures by Disney. So whether you are wanting to do something in Europe or something in Africa or whatever, you have the options to do that. But you also have these really great options in North America too. Like Danielle mentioned, you know, New England is coming. There are some out in California that you can pair with a trip to Disneyland. Like there's some out west. You know, there's a lot of great options that you can choose from, and then some in, you know, Central America as well. So really whatever your ideal vacation experience is, you can probably find it in an Adventures by Disney itinerary. And so again, you know, feel free to reach out to an agent to help you kind of sift through those choices, because, you know, again, having Disney take care of the details while you're over there is great, but also having someone in your corner to kind of help you get to that point is just another added advantage that comes at no additional cost to you. So thank you all for joining us. Let's see if we have any questions or comments here. Oh, hello.
Hi.
I really want to go. Oh, yes, I know. As a
Yeah.
carbaholic, that sounds pretty awesome to me
Yep.
too.
Yes.
And homemade pasta, like I have actually made pasta before, like for, you know, here in America, and I'm sure it's not as good as Italian pasta, but it is like better homemade. Like it's better from scratch.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Sure,
Yeah. The Australian one looks amazing.
I know. My kids are really into Bluey. I don't know if anybody's kids watch Bluey, but they want to go to Australia because
of Bluey. Yes, same. But I have to say, I love Bluey. Like I really enjoy watching Bluey.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband and I feel like sometimes they like come to our house and spy on us and then make episodes of Bluey because it's very relatable.
Yes. Absolutely.
It is organized and it is Disney. I would think it would be safer traveling as a group, and Disney would think, yes, I agree. Yeah,
absolutely. Disney's, you know, whole customer service, their compass is what they have. Safety is like the number one point on that. Yeah. So in the theme parks and on tours as well. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we also didn't really mention river cruising. They do. Disney Adventures by Disney does have river cruises. So if you're looking to go and you want to travel on one of those rivers, I mean, especially in Europe, there are some amazing river cruises, and it's a smaller cruise ship. It's not like a big ocean one that's super huge and overwhelming. And there is one adventure, I think that, last year it did Christmas markets in Germany.
Yes.
And like along, where I'm looking for the river cruise. Yes, the Danube River Cruise Christmas markets. And regardless of what you celebrate, the Christmas markets in Germany and in Europe in general are amazing, like absolutely beautiful. I can't even describe. There's amazing food. There's amazing drinks. There's Glühwein, which is like a mulled red wine. There's Kinderpunsch, which is, you know, the child non-alcoholic version. I mean, all the amazing things. And it's so cool because this cruise takes you along the Danube River, and you stop in 3 different countries. You have like 6 stops between Germany, Austria, and Hungary. that you stop in all these at all these amazing Christmas markets. It's so cool. So cool.
That would be definitely a bucket list item
Yep.
too, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Oh, awesome. Very cool. All right. I think that's all of our comments for tonight. So again, thank you all so much for joining us for Sundays with MMT. We had, a lot of fun chatting with you about the Adventures by Disney difference. If you are interested in getting more information about planning one of these experiences, again, remember it is free to work with a travel professional. You're not going to pay any more to book that vacation through us than you would to book it, directly through Adventures by Disney, because we are, their travel partner, and we are authorized by them to be, experts and to work with them in their vacation products. So our contact information, if you missed it, is all back at the beginning of the video. So you can go back and you can check that out. Our planning services, we plan everything from theme park vacations. We talked about that a little bit at the beginning, Disney theme parks. If you want to experience that, we can help you get there too. We can obviously help you get on a cruise, get you on an Adventures by Disney itinerary, all-inclusive resorts, really anywhere that you would want to go. We can help you get there. So next week, we are going to be live in our Universal Orlando group. We're going to be doing a ranking of the Universal roller coasters, including the brand new Velocicoaster, which just opened earlier this month. So we hope to see you all again soon for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.